there's a lot of bottle girls with their licenses that now after COVID that get approved for a loan. Once that ended, they went back to the clubs and they're back at Centro and Dirty Rabbit.
All right, guys, welcome to another episode of Dollars and Dreams podcast. All right, we're here with John, all right, one of the best real estate guys in all of Miami. If you haven't seen him on a bus, then you haven't seen him. We're just going to jump into this real quick. I haven't seen John in a long time, probably about like 6, 7, 8 months right now. And one of the reasons we have him on the podcast today is because I know he's about to be speaking in July. What was it?
July 22nd and 23rd. I'm not sure which day I'm speaking, but those are the days of the conference.
Yeah, he's going to be on the Better Way Conference, right?
Better Way Conference 3. If you guys don't know, we'll get you the details. Don't worry.
Can you give a little bit of a background of what the Better Way Conference is?
Yeah, so basically the Better Way Conference is just a conference of entrepreneurs and business people who are going to go on stage and just inspire and motivate and educate people who are hungry, people who, go to these conferences to learn and to, see these people that are making 7, 8 figures in these industries and learn from the best. So that's pretty much what it is, man. It's a collection of the best entrepreneurs, 7, 8 figure earners, and they basically just try to drop knowledge on everybody. It should be about 1,000 people. And from what I could tell, I didn't go to Better Way 1 or 2, but the feedback and response that I've seen everybody, now for Better Way 3 has been immaculate. Like, so many people gain so much and learn so much. So, I'm really excited to get on stage and drop some gems for everybody.
Do you know who's going to be on the panel besides yourself?
I don't want to.
Are you allowed to leak that or no?
I think he's announced a few speakers. Shout out my guy Brandon Medford in New York. Shout out my guy Brandon Condi. Other than those two, I'm not sure. I don't want to accidentally name drop, so we'll stick to those two. If you guys don't know who Brandon Medford and Brandon Condi are, you guys better learn soon. So,
how do you feel about speaking in front of people?
I'll be honest, man, I'm really nervous. Yeah. I'm really nervous just because I haven't done it yet, and I know, like, getting up speaking in front of, like, my classroom when I was in school, it was just kind of nerve-wracking. So, but I'm definitely excited. I know that I got the knowledge and I got what it takes. I just got to get up there and do it.
What are you speaking on, like commercial real estate? Like
I'm going to be speaking on real estate in general. I'm still trying to kind of put my my pitch out there. Not so much pitch, but what I'm going to talk about and kind of just organize it. I may talk a little bit about mortgages, may talk a little bit about real estate, and may just talk a little bit about, life in general and how, coming up from where I was to where I came now.
Yeah, bro, you've excelled freaking crazy. First time I met John was actually in Arizona, right?
Arizona.
That was insane. So just a little background, guys. I used to work for an amazing guy, Jay Monopoly. Shout out to Jay. And I used to be his videographer, and we went to Arizona, where I'm pretty sure we did I want to say like a sub-conference.
It's like a mastermind.
Like a mastermind, yeah. So we did a mastermind there in Arizona, nice mansion. If you guys haven't been to this mansion, you should hit up Orlando Miller, all right? He's got an amazing mansion out there in Arizona, beautiful estate, 8 bedrooms, beautiful, like, infinity pool, like, wow. Bro,
crazy.
That property was insane.
Yeah, no, it was crazy.
Insane. Movie theater, I'm trying to think, bro. There's so many things in the house. It was huge,
views
high ceilings. I'll insert some photos. Definitely this. Great property, but yeah, during that mastermind, like, you excelled crazy. I know you bought you got upsold.
Yeah, I wouldn't say upsold. I've been following. Shout out my guy Jay Monopoly. I had followed him for a few years before the mastermind, and I was in real estate, but I was also in college, so like I never really took the industry serious, and then it just got to a point, COVID hit and all this hit, and it was like, when am I going to get in the game? Like, I see all these moves happening, and I know there's a stigma of, oh, this is fake and this is scamming, but it's like, not everybody online is scamming. Not everybody online is not legitimate. Like, there's legitimate people out there doing good business, and after so many years of following this person, Jay Monopoly, the success is in the pudding, you know what I'm saying? You see it year after year. It's you just can't fake it.
Yeah.
So, I saw that they were having a mastermind. I reached out. It was $10,000. So it was a big investment. And at the time, everyone was like, no, you're crazy. Who are these people? You don't know who they are. Are you sure that they're legit? And I remember being in the car having that conversation. I was actually called by his business partner, Levi. Shout out my guy, Levi.
Yeah, I love Levi. He's good people.
Yeah, and I was in the car with my buddy, and I remember getting off the phone and looking at him, and I'm like, bro, like, mark my words, this mastermind is going to change my life. Mark my words. And yeah, man, it was the first time ever me meeting these people. Paid $10,000, flew to Arizona, didn't know anybody. We had that crazy mansion and all these speakers, and again, like not knowing anybody, not knowing what you can get, what to expect. It was a big leap of faith, but I knew that it was time for something to happen, and I had already had some success in the business, so I was able to take some of that capital and invest and try to, level up in life. And man, it was honestly one of the best things I ever did.
I think the relationships that we really got from that day, like, outlived. Like, I'll tell you this, I'm big on this. I feel like every person I've met, it's like another brother, like, no, like family member in business, Anton, and we met Abdel. We met a lot of people that I still communicate with them from time to time. And I see how much you guys progressed in like the last 6 to 8 months. You guys have been absolutely killing it. You guys are very private about it. Now you guys aren't really social media buffs, but like when you guys do pop off and you do showcase your life, it's been great to see it, man.
Yeah, I'm trying to get a little bit more into social media, but speaking on Anton and Abdel, man, again, I met them at Arizona, and me and them are actually going in business together on some government contracting work with
Kevin.
I'm sure you could guess
yes.
who. Shout out my guy Kevin Jennings, man. He's legit, man. So we're actually partnering in that. Man, those connections, man, are just...
What industry did you choose for the government contracts?
He's got us doing something that he thinks we'll excel in. It's going to be more like contracting and real estate towards, in that sense, long term, but short term, it's going to be more wholesaling to the government. So
Section 8?
No, not necessarily Section 8. It's a little bit complicated, but wholesaling to the government in the sense of, let's say the jail needs 10,000 gallons of milk every Monday.
Right.
So then you buy the milk, you wholesale it to them, you add a little bit on top, a couple cents, let's say 50 cents on the 10,000 gallons of milk. But every Monday, you're making 50 cents on 10,000. What's that? That's 5,000 every single Monday. You're talking about $20,000 a month just from selling milk to the government. So that's the step that we're trying to take short term. We finally finished all the paperwork with Sam, got registered to start bidding on these contracts. And then long term, it's going to be more contractor, real estate related work.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing, man. Like, I remember like I was part of Jennings' initial first investment into like social media, and that was pretty amazing. I see it all the time. I know that's hard, all right? And I know that you've been already coming up from the social media side of things, posting here and there. Now, just so you guys understand, Kevin Jennings is an amazing contractor when it comes to government contracts, but he's never stepped foot in social media. Now he's starting to make the waves, and I see it all the time with clients. They'll come on to social media, have no idea how it works and stuff like that. But if he had to get plugged up with anyone, bro, like best plug up was honestly Brandon, Jay, just to help structure that deal together and put it together. Amazing thing.
Yeah, man. I mean, your network is your net worth, literally, man. And as you said, like those connections you make, not only is like brothers, man, but like look at what we're doing now. I met you in Arizona, like, and we've hung out after that.
Yeah.
Continuously. You've done some photography work for me. So I mean, investing in your network and in yourself, you're never gonna fail.
Yeah, man. I feel like especially with you, man, you have always had a great character about you. You always held your head high. You're slow to speak. That's one thing that, I know I fucked up. Like when I was like with you guys, bro, I was fucking talking out of my ass. But it's something you learn with time, like, where it's like, you gotta be the one that's like almost like a fly in the wall and learn. And I see that you get into those rooms now. Like you get into those rooms, you are meeting these people. And I know it comes just from like your demeanor alone, but also the way you network. All right.
Yeah, I mean, I've been very blessed because after that mastermind, Jay took me under his wing. He's put me in so many rooms that, I can't even begin to think about how I can repay him for putting me in those rooms. And thankfully, I think I'm a people person more or less. I could talk to a wall for 10 minutes, but when I do get in these rooms, I try not to say too much, but when I do say something, I try to make sure that it's valuable and it's some type of input, or it's not forcing it. It's not me trying to insert myself into a conversation that really I have no business in or something like that. And then at the end of the day, it's just being authentic, man. It's just being genuine. Like with you, I wasn't faking anything. Yeah. We hit it off. And it's basically just that, man. Be yourself. And if you're yourself, I think people will see that and people will gravitate towards that.
100%, man. Yeah. It's the whole magnetism thing.
100%, man.
Are you going to be doing more events after you do the Better Way conference?
I mean, hopefully, man. Hopefully after Better Way, people, my name gets out there more, because in reality, on the social media world, I'm very small. You know,
Yeah.
I was the type to only take one picture every year on my birthday.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, meeting you and all these people, they're like, bro, social media is everything, content is everything. So I'm trying to get more out there.
I see. We have a camera guy, by the way. We have
Yeah.
Jay's nephew.
Jay's nephew.
Yeah,
Shout out my
like-
guy Eli. I just hired him full time, so he's gonna be taking care of, you know, all my socials, making sure that I'm posting every day or, you know, every other day, and just being more consistent with my socials.
100%. Listen, I truly believe that content is king, but value is queen. Like,
Yeah.
like if you can continue to put out value, not just like, and we spoke about this earlier. I think a lot of people make the mistake of speaking on their industry, like 75% of their content, real estate this, credit repair that, when everyone does it. Everyone in the industry has their own monopoly in that industry. But if you're gonna learn, if someone's gonna buy into it, they need to learn who you are. You know, like your trials, your errors, where you came from. That's why, like, the biggest thing I know you from is like that bus. You know, like where did that come from? I have no idea. I was like, yo, who is this guy? He like, I remember I saw your Instagram for the first time in Arizona. I was like, yo, this guy has a photo of a bus, face on a bus. Like, yo, what is this?
Yeah, man. So I was thankful enough to like I said, I had some success before Arizona, where obviously I was able to afford, you know, paying for a group that was 10,000 because of the success I had in the industry, and I kind of did it so quick. To put in perspective, my goal for the year in 2021, I did it in the first 3 months. You know, so that was huge for me, and it really put things. I had to have bigger goals.
Mm-hmm.
And with that being said, since I excelled so quickly, my broker was gracious enough to kind of give me that as a gift and put me on a bus, riding all around my home city, Hialeah, Miami, Highway, everything, man. Basically, everyone because I grew up in Miami, so riding all around the city of Miami.
Now, when you say Miami, are we talking Kendall or are we talking Miami?
We're talking Miami, downtown Miami, Hialeah, Kendall, Westchester.
Yeah.
Like, we're literally talking about everywhere all around Miami. For those of you who know the public transportation system, those buses pretty much go all around. And, man, I run into people still to this day, and they're like, bro, I seen you on a bus, man. I'm like, you know, and I'm just so, you know, grateful and you know, really just it's very humbling, you know, growing up here and having that experience.
I've been always curious about this when it comes to real estate, because I know everybody builds their pipelines differently. Like, how did you excel? You said you excelled like your entire first year, 3 months. What made you, like, what was your process doing it?
Oh, man, to be honest, so I got a mentor, right? I think in every industry you should get a mentor, and I realized the value in that. And what I did was I found someone who we grew up very similar in you know, growing up with parents and what we did as kids and, you know, stuff like that. So I found someone that I related to. So you got to find someone that you relate to, and I actually paid him $100 for an hour of his time. He didn't want to take it, but I wanted him to take it because I wanted him to see that I valued his time, and I wanted him to actually put forth effort in that hour with me versus just giving me the runaround and giving me what everybody, you know, he tells everybody else, right? So that was number one. I found someone who had what I wanted and paid them so that I could get some value from them. And after doing that, man, it was really one of the main things he told me is he looked at my socials and was like, what does this tell me? Like, what does this say? How do I know you're a realtor? And I didn't have realtor. I didn't have anything. There was nothing on my socials that said I was a realtor. And at that time, it was because, like I told you, I would post one picture on my birthday, and I didn't want to put myself out there. But he made me. And once I put myself out there and I started, you know, posting stories of me showing houses and this and that, man, my community, my sphere, they bought in, man. And they were like, wow, I didn't even know you did this, you know? And then they just, the referrals started coming, and people see that I was active, and it just started popping off for me the second I put myself out there.
Was it more word of mouth, or did you do like I remember because one of my boys did it too. It's like the whole, you write the notes and you like send the letters out, like the hand letters and whatnot?
Personal written notes. I haven't done that yet. It is a good tactic. I'm going to start implementing that, but I've been so lucky and so, you know, blessed that all my business was inbound. I didn't spend not one marketing dollar. I didn't spend not one lead generation. Everything was just word of mouth, sphere, past clients, referrals. So that's why I got to spend the whole year basically traveling, because I didn't need to do outbound. I didn't need to be in an office looking for business. The business came to me. Yeah. So I spent like 4 months out of the country, out of the state. I wasn't even in Miami for 4 months, and I'm talking about like,
I remember because I hit you up. I was like, yo, dude, I'm looking for a warehouse. He's like, bro, I'm not even there. Like, yo, like I'm not, I don't even want a laptop, no MLS. I don't want to look at that. I'll see. I remember, but you did refer me. Because we were looking for, me and my team, we were looking for a warehouse. And like I realized, yo, like the market in Miami is ridiculous for a warehouse, bro.
Yeah.
6 bands for like not even 1,000 square feet. Like,
yeah, and then it's not even zoned for what you wanted. Yeah, it's crazy.
insane. Doral where it's at though.
Doral where it's at for sure. Warehouses,
warehouses,
Doral.
woo.
Yeah, Doral's where it's at.
Yo,
100%.
for 15 bands, you could get a whole like what? We found one for like 10,000 square feet. That was crazy.
For
15,000 a month.
Imagine what you could do with 10,000 square feet. You could
Bro,
divide that in.
That's what I'm saying. Like you could have different departments within a warehouse.
Yeah, and rent those out. Yeah.
No, 100%. That's definitely the move. Like, we wanted to build like a community up there, like in Doral, and just have everything, traders, credit repair
Kind of like
guys.
what you were gonna do, what you're doing here, but just on a way larger
Yes,
scale.
exactly. Like where we are location wise here, it's still a very good location, but it's like it's businesses not working together. That's one thing I really noticed, especially with the entrepreneur space. Like I think I learned this not just from Jay, but like you have to have like the 5 pairs. So you have to have a funding guy, you have to have a credit repair guy, you have to have a real estate guy, and then you have to have a marketing guy. All right. If you have these 4 or 5 things like in your network, it's easy to like start giving each other business and whatnot, because it's like, oh, hey, listen, I need to get a house. Oh, but I don't have good credit. Say less. Boom. I got a guy for you. Boom. All right. Oh, I have my credit right. Now we can do funding. All right. Where can I put this money? Oh, I have an automation, or I have like somebody you can invest in. So it's like they all go into each other.
Right.
And that's one of the things that I hope they do this right at your speaking event is the funding guy needs to speak first. All right. Funding guy speaks first. Why? Because most people, when you hand them ideas, the first thing they think about is money. They're like, oh my God, I can't afford this. You'll talk about exotic car automations. You'll talk about Amazon FBA, but in their head, they're still thinking, I don't have the money. But if you hit them with a credit repair guy first, then it's like credit repair, funding. Okay, I get $100,000 in funding. Where do I put that money? Then the next 5 speakers speak. Then you got like it lined up which investment you want to do first.
Take care of the problem before it becomes a problem.
Exactly. And that's one thing I've noticed by shooting events all the time is they always have these credit repair guys speak last because they're like, oh, it's not valuing it. But I'm just like, bro, that's like where the money's coming from.
Yeah.
Like that's
to get the funding to then get the product.
Because the everyday person can't afford money or doesn't have the upfront capital or understands the value of how to get the upfront capital to invest in things and whatnot.
You don't know what you don't know, basically. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing when it comes to this. I'm excited for you, man. Like I know that this is gonna be a big jump for you. Is there anything that like big scope, 5 years, 6 years, where you going?
Man, I don't know. Really, I want to set myself up where real estate is automated. So now I'm getting my mortgage license as well, so I can then fund loans because now they passed a law where you can represent your client on both sides of the transaction. So I can now help you obtain the property on the real estate side, and I can do the funding on the mortgage side.
Oh, wow.
Right? So you can basically double dip, right? So in that sense, that's 2 checks for a transaction. Now, if I open up a title company, I could get 3 checks for a transaction. Now,
how does that work with the titles, by the way?
Title company is basically, they make sure that your title's free and clear, that there's no judgments, there's no liens, there's no clouds on the title. That way, when you do purchase a property, 3 months down the line, you're not like, someone comes and say, hey, that's my property, like I own it. Or
right. You could just buy the title though, right? Like with wholesaling and whatnot, you just buy the titles and then you sell it to somebody, right?
Wholesaling is a little different. Wholesaling, you're locking in the right to purchase the property.
Gotcha.
So if you wanted 200, I'll send you a contract, and that contract I have 45 days to close, right? So now for 45 days, I have the right to purchase your property. Then I can then take that contract and sell it to a third party for what we call an assignment fee, which is an extra $5,000, $10,000. Today I just closed one. I just came straight from the closing, $43,000 assignment fee.
Jesus.
So and then that you don't need a license. That's just getting a piece of paper. Hey, I'll give you 300. Got it. Hey, 350. And he said, okay. And then that's it.
So you know how like the whole stigma behind like real estate licenses in New York or not New York and South Florida is the whole like getting a driver's license. It's not hard. Anyone can get it.
Everybody's got it.
Do you think more people can make money flipping houses without getting the license off the get-go? Or should they still dive into like, hey, let me get the license first and then like let me think about flipping houses?
I mean, that's a good question. Flipping houses in the sense of wholesaling or fixing and flipping as an investor?
As the fixing and flipping, yeah.
Okay, so as an investor, you really don't need a real estate license. Now, would I recommend it? 100%. Why? Because you're going to come to me to find you the property, and then I'm going to make 3% on that purchase. But if you're a real estate agent, you can represent yourself in the transaction. So, for example, if it's a $500,000 property at 3%, I'll make $15,000 for finding you the property and guiding you through the transaction all the way to closing. But if you represent yourself now, you can take those $15,000 that you would get and you can apply that to the closing costs. And now instead of closing with $40,000, you put that you're closing with $25,000. So it's always good to have if you're an investor, because if you're buying deals, you can keep the commission. And once you fix it, you can put it on the market yourself and then save yourself that 3% from hiring a selling agent to list a property.
That's pretty crazy.
So on every transaction, you can save yourself 20, 30, 40, depending on obviously, how expensive the home is.
It's a very competitive market that you're in, though.
Yeah, South Florida's crazy. I think just in Miami-Dade County, there's 60,000 realtors. Just in Miami-Dade.
Jesus.
Yeah. So they say in the business, 90% of the realtors fight for 10% of the business, and 10% of the realtors are fighting for 90% of the business.
And it all depends on like what price point you're selling at, right? Or like what's your niche within the industry. Correct?
Yeah, it's just a lot of people get their license and don't do anything with it. There's a lot of bottle girls with their licenses that now after COVID, that the whole COVID, everyone can afford a house and everyone can apply and actually get approved for a loan. Once that ended, they went back to the clubs and they're back at Centro and Dirty Rabbit, popping bottles and doing that because...
Yo, they flex their license, though. They do.
They do. And they go to, I had one lady go to my listing for like $2 million, and then she put it on Instagram as hers. And then everyone's messaging me, and I was like, but as a realtor, you got to do what you can to get that perception out there. And again, like I was posting stories of showing houses. People were like, you're killing it, bro. You're killing it. This is back in like 2019, and just because I'm showing houses doesn't mean I'm closing anything. And in fact, I wasn't closing anything. Yeah. But people see me with a new family and a new house and a new this. And you're killing it, bro. And I'm like, I'm killing it, bro.
I'm fucking dying.
Yeah, and I'm there struggling. You know what I'm saying? But it's perception. Yeah. So these new realtors, they'll post other people's properties, and people are like, damn, you're doing good. You're doing this. Yeah. And, it's kind of just like a fake it till you make it thing in real estate.
I think it is, yeah. I think it's definitely the marketing has to be
The marketing
insane.
is everything, man. Marketing is everything. And in every business, look at your business. I mean, everyone that we know, it's all marketing. At the end of the day, it's all marketing. And marketing yourself, because I got to sell myself. Because now if I come on this podcast and I talk a bunch of crap and you think I don't know what the hell I'm talking about, why would you ever call me to, help you sell or purchase a home? So every conversation I have, I'm selling myself. Why you should use me. Why I'm that knowledgeable professional in this market. You know what I'm saying? So that's
what do you sell? What do you sell the most of? Single family homes or what?
Yeah, right now I do mostly single family homes in South Florida, Miami-Dade. I do a little bit of Broward, but just my clientele is not in Broward. If I had the clientele for Broward, I would do Broward, but my clientele is South Florida, man. I grew up in Hialeah. Shout out to all my people from Hialeah. Went to school, north of the airport. Went to college south of the airport at FIU. So from college, I know everyone south of the airport. From growing up, 18 years, I know everyone north of the airport. So
yeah, you got your network here.
Miami is my domain for sure.
So how'd you start out? I'm curious, man, because like for me, like it's like posting, it's video, content, stuff like that. But I know for real estate, it's more like legwork.
Yeah. So at the beginning, it's a lot of legwork, man. Like at the beginning, my business wasn't all inbound. Matter of fact, none of my business was inbound because, as I mentioned, no one even knew I was in the industry. So until I started putting myself out there, the inbound wasn't coming. Yeah. So for like 2 or 3 years, I had to like really grind it out, man. Really make phone calls, really call sellers, asking them, hey, why don't you list your house? Like just trying to basically trick them into an appointment so I could get to their house. And then once I get to their house, tell them the real reason I'm there and try to list their property. So it's a lot of hard work, man. And nowadays I even find myself not wanting to do the stuff that made me successful in the beginning. Yeah. It's like I'm past that stage, but really you're not. You got to go back to basics. And, there's a good quote I heard the other day: when nothing else works, work works. Yeah. Just get back to work, man. Just get back in the lab.
It's crazy you say that because I find myself in that same position where I'll get the small gigs, the little stuff that made me to get to the point where I'm at now, where I could do high ticket clients and whatnot, and I don't take them. And it's more just in the sense of not like, oh, like I have a big ego and whatnot. It's just like my mind's somewhere else. And to solve a small problem for the same amount doesn't make sense. Just like for you, like you're not going to go chase a lead that, like probably make you like 5 to 6 bands, but like, it's like, how do you explain it? Like you're looking for the longevity. When you're so focused on the future that you can't execute on the things that are doing now. That's my thing.
I think in real estate, the best way to compare that is rentals, right? So in the South Florida market, if you rent someone a property, typically there's an agent representing the landlord and an agent representing the tenant. So let's say the rent is $2,000, $1,000 goes to the one representing the tenant, $1,000 goes to the one representing the landlord. But it's just as much work as a sale, if not more work, because you got this person who's about to be homeless making their problem your problem, saying, I waited to look for 5 days before my lease is up. I'm going to be on the street. I got my kids. I got that. So you're stressed out trying to find them a property when in reality they should have started looking 30 days before their lease ends, right? And then all to make $1,000, and then you got to pay your brokerage, which is anywhere from 10, 20, 30, 40, even 50% sometimes, and then you got to pay taxes. So let's say, you know, in my example, I'm blessed. I pay 10%, so I make 1,000, 10% to my company, so I get 900. Out of that 900, I got to pay taxes. Out of that, what I'm left with, let's say if it's 30%, maybe $600, but you got to pay gas, your time, your this, your that. How much did you really make? You know what I'm saying? So now I don't work so many rentals, not because it's not worth my time, but it'll consume my time and I won't have time for anything else.
Right.
And then the just the mental space of, oh my God, this person's going to be homeless. Like it was too much when I could just sell a house and make 15,000 versus doing 15 rentals that will take me all month and more. It'll take me 2-3 months to do 15 rentals when I could just sell one house.
Have you
touched travel?
Yeah, have you touched the Airbnb space or no?
I did Airbnb at my parents' property, but not like client wise. I haven't managed one for a client. I've sold properties to clients where they're Airbnb, but me personally, like managing it and stuff like that, no, I haven't.
Aren't you in a course for it, Orlando's or no?
I did take Orlando's course, but it was really like, well, I did that more for the network. Not to say that his course doesn't provide value. It provides a ton of value. But like I said, I had already did Airbnb in the past. Yeah. So a lot of the stuff he was teaching, I had already knew by experience. Yeah. Right? So his course is taking you through A to Z, you know, what not to mess up in when you're starting off. I already did those mistakes. I already learned from my own mistakes. But there is definitely a lot of value in the sense of, you know, he got me a lot of gems and taught me, like, what areas allow what and, you know, look out for this and just little things that take a little bit more experience than the experience that I had doing it. I had maybe 6 months doing it and then COVID hit.
Do you feel when it comes to like courses like that, do you prefer a mentorship over a course or are you?
So I haven't taken many courses, but everything I've done has been mentorships. Jay has been a mentorship, 10,000. Kevin Jennings, 15,000. Orlando was like 3,000. So I'm putting your guys' prices out there, but
they're probably gonna go up after this podcast.
Yeah, for sure. So last year, man, I spent 30,000 just in mentorships last year, just in education, just in personal development, and that's just 3 things. I'm sure
that's around 30,000 right there.
10, 15, that's 25. 3 is 28 plus
expensive.
Whatever else you do there.
Right, we talk about that all the time. I think when it comes to especially educating yourself in the entrepreneur space, like a lot of people will say, "Oh, you should have went to school. You should have stuff like that." What he does is what most of us do is we find someone that is killing it in that industry, and we'll pay them whatever the fuck, you know, just to learn. Whether it's 5 minutes, 6 minutes, you'd be surprised. You can have a 10-minute conversation with them, and they'll make the puzzle click where we couldn't, and it's just like, what? No way.
And it's literally just
it's literally so simple too. Like they'll explain it like it's like I don't know, like dogs and cats, you know. Yeah. Like, and it just makes sense.
Yeah, and a lot of people at the end of the day, they feel like, oh, I mean, I could have found that out, and then they feel like the value wasn't there, but you didn't find it out. How much time would it have taken you to find it out? And not only that, like I said for Orlando, like you pay for the network. Like that was a big thing with Jay. It's not that I didn't get the value out of the mastermind. The mastermind has paid 10x, right? But the network, you've seen what I've been doing since Arizona. Like the people that I hang out with are not the same. The conversations that I have are not the same. Like the rooms I'm in are not the same. And then that from 1 year, it was like I've been around more millionaires and more money in this last year than I have my whole life.
Yeah.
So
the law of proximity, bro.
It's like power of proximity. Yep. 100%.
Insane. And it forces you not to go back. So example, like especially being in a real estate, you have multiple friend groups in multiple areas and whatnot. I know in Miami, like it's easy to like hit it with your hometown friends and whatnot very easily. But once like you have access to like the environments that we have access to, bro, and we have even like a 5 to 6 minute conversation with someone that's coming from a 9 to 5, that's struggling, that's killing themselves every single day, bro. It sucks to be the person to be like, bro, I just don't fuck with you anymore, bro. Like, and not in a like negative way, but it's like you have all this energy and vibrations of all these people telling you doing this, this, and this, and then you run to somebody who they haven't woken up, you know, they haven't clicked yet, you know, and you can't teach that to someone. You can't. It's just more you just like they need to feel it for themselves, you know?
It's either you got it or you got it, man.
Yeah, exactly.
And really, I've tried to convince my my friends growing up so many times that it's kind of just it's preaching to the choir. It's like they're not getting it, and it sucks because I don't like not hang out with them. I still have my middle school group, you know, shout out, you know, all those guys, and we still hang out. We just did an Orlando trip. We just went on a cruise. It's like a big 6 guys, 6 girls, but the conversations we have are not money related. They're not, how are we getting to this next level?
It's hard for me.
It's not like, yo, how much money are you making? Oh, you made 100,000. Like, how do I make 100,000? Like, they see me making money, and I'm very open about the money that I make because I want to take everybody with me. Like, making money by yourself is not fun.
It's not.
Going to that nice restaurant and eating the most expensive thing on the menu by yourself is not fun. I want to be riding with Lambos with all my boys down the 112 in Miami, you know, but when they can't see it, it's just not their time, man. You can't flip that switch for them. But once they flip it, one of my boys flipped it. He slowly but surely, man, shout out my guy Pat, finally flipped that switch, and now I'm like, okay, Pat, now I see, now you're money, and now, and it's not that it's all about money, but it's about growth, man, in this game of life. Like, how are we going to elevate ourselves? How are we going to get to that next level? You know what I'm saying? Like, we owe it to our parents who put us here, who came from other countries to give us opportunities they didn't have. So that's kind of how I see it, man. And why would you not want to get the most out of life and get the finer things and everything that you can afford and that people just like me and you, humans, are doing? Why can't we do it? That's always how I say, why not me?
It's the whole auditing your entire life. So like
I love that word.
Like literally, I remember the first time I started to do it with the small things, the making the bed, the, you know, brushing your teeth, you know, little things like that. But like conversation wise, the moment I started to audit my conversations and like realize, oh my God, like this person, all this person is talk about people. When people talk about people, bro, they're broke. Like, I realize that, like, because they got nothing else, you know?
Nothing else.
So, like, the more that I start to have conversations about, like, I guess, not just moving forward, like, how to network, how to connect people, I think that it's one of the biggest skill sets a lot of people, like, undervalue. Like, learning how to solve other people's problems by just connecting people is the craziest thing in the world. I think Jay taught me that more than anything.
Broker relationships.
Yeah, yeah. And, by the way, there's contracts for that, for that, too. I just learned about this, like,
100%. You're procuring cause. You're the reason why, for example, Jay's the reason why me and you connected. Me and you go make $1 million. You know, people are like, Jay should be entitled to some of that money because he connected us, and now we're making millions while he...
You should have signed a contract, Jay.
Yeah, so, but just to give the viewers an example, that's pretty much how that works.
Yeah, that's how, like, so a lot of people don't know this, but, like, that's how it's probably easier to make $1 million doing that, connecting two things. Like, for example, Jennings is Kevin's a great example for this. Someone who already is a millionaire, doesn't know anything about social media, right? But then you plug them to somebody who does social media, like stuff like that, and you just cause that relationship. You make a sale off of that. Boom. You could make commission on that.
Entitled to the growth.
Exactly.
Your business is right here. We're going to grow you 50%. I want 20% of the increase.
Yeah, exactly.
So
that's the type of contracts I do now, by the way. So I don't like, I don't do small or anything small. So we only work with clients that we can grow their entire social media and take a piece on the back end because we're growing it for you. I just feel like especially working with different entrepreneurs and whatnot, you can grow their business very easily with content. And a lot of people don't understand that. But like the moment that you can tap into sales with content, bro, it's fucking amazing. No, 100%. Like, and it just like a lot of people will have like camera guys that follow them all the time. Like that's what me and Ross used to do. And I highly recommend that people don't do it. Like you strictly shoot for whatever you need done, and that's it. That way you could focus more on your business than like thinking about like, yo, I have to pay for this guy's flight. I have to do this. I have to do this. It's cool. It's great. But I feel like a lot of people like forget that you can knock out a ton of content if you just plan it properly beforehand, you know? Like just because no matter what, like if you become, I tell people it's like when you're an entrepreneur, you're so used to getting that rush of posting. But if you literally wait a month, bro, and you just stack up, bro, that next month, super easy, bro. Super easy for you to start posting content. You feel like you could just get out there and do things and whatnot. And, like, that's why I tell people all the time, like, if you're going to get into the content game, just wait a month, stack up, and then release, you know, back to back. You could do the engagement thing like people do and whatnot, do engagement, stuff like that. Just stack up for a whole month, bro, and just go off. Because then that next week, you could just stack up for the next month. Next month.
It really is overwhelming trying to like figure out what I'm posting today, what kind of content I got to shoot. So, yeah, knocking it out, 30 videos, 60 videos. I even see people do it in one day.
Yeah.
Knock them out in a couple hours. Knock them out for a month, 2 months worth of posts.
Yeah, ChatGPT is like God right now. Like, literally. Like, it's still missing that human element. Like,
it's going to get so crazy so quick.
Yeah.
It's going to get so crazy so quick.
You saw that Drake song, the AI Drake?
It was crazy.
Yeah, it was insane.
It was a banger.
Yeah, it was really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's trying to sue them, bro.
That's crazy.
He was trying to sue them.
Crazy.
I was like, there's no suing
I would listen to that song. Who are you going to sue?
Yeah, dude, that's
Who
what
you
I'm
gonna sue?
It's like, that's your voice, bro. Like, yeah.
Who you going to sue?
No, I know.
That's
so
crazy.
like, yeah, so like the deep fakes, the AI, how do you feel about that though?
Mixed feelings.
Like, because I know it's going to get a lot of people out of a job quick, all right?
Yeah, mixed feelings. You really don't know what you don't know, and I don't really like to speak on things I'm not that educated about, but from what I've seen, it's going to take over, like, soon, and I think it's going to be the new boom. So, for example, like, when phones came out, people who got into the phones, that was, like, the thing that blew up the world. The internet blew up the world. Social media blew up the world. Now AI, I think it's going to blow up the world.
Yeah, it's going to blow up.
I think if you can learn how to capitalize, like when the internet, socials, and phones came out, if you can learn how to capitalize on AI
6-year bubble,
now,
guys.
We're in the beginning, man. We're in the beginning. If you can learn how to monetize it, bro, and make it do some type of work and offer a service that just is completely automated for you, oh my God.
It's all about, so like, the best thing I tell people is, like, if you guys can learn anything besides, like, if any videographers out there, if you want to learn something else to add as a skill set, is I highly recommend that you learn how to automate systems. Like, it's just easier. And then what you could do is use Zapier and ChatGPT. If you can learn those two things will make the posting process for things clockwork.
I mean, he uploaded one, like a long form, and it chopped it up into 15 clips.
Oh, yeah, there's one, Opus. We use one too. Insane. It gives you a title. It gives you
the
like
subtitles, the caption, everything. It's crazy. So it's like there's almost no excuse now to not do something.
Oh, absolutely. You know? Like you and back like right now, like we're competing with iPhones. Like, you know, like we produce all this amazing stuff with a creative currency, by the way, and all of our stuff is amazing quality work. But like a lot of people feel like, hey, listen, I can just take an iPhone. You know, like. The thing is, at the end of the day, like, you still don't know what you don't know, like basically. And I feel like we've been saying that a lot, but like that's the thing. Like, knowledge is key. Like, it unlocks like literally everything. Like, you could be literally I see it all the time. You see these kids that are killing it with these iPhones, shooting events with cars and stuff like that. And then, like, they discover a camera and they're like,
yeah.
what?
I mean, if I hired a photographer and he showed up with an iPhone, like, let's be honest, like. You're getting fired.
You're getting paid for iPhone quality.
yeah, literally.
I'll pay your monthly plan.
Yeah,
you know?
literally, because it's like, come on, you know.
Yeah.
So
dude, that happened to me, bro. Like when I first started off, bro.
I think you told me that story. Yeah, and they're like, bro, you gotta get a camera, and you're like, all right, bro, all right.
Fine.
You know,
yeah.
but
I was like, yo, just wait on the results.
Just pay me for a couple jobs, bro.
Yeah. They're like, no, you need a camera. But no, that's the thing. It like for example, the way you dress, man. Like if you showed up here looking like a bum, bro, I wouldn't take you seriously. All right. I knew that you were gonna dress up, so I got my pants on. All right.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, and it's not just for this. Like, this is how I showed up to my closing. This is how I show up to appointments. This is how I show up to the office. Because I'm a big believer of dressing for the job you want, not the job you have. And not only that, it's like, sometimes, bro, I've gone to the grocery store, like the corner of my house, and I'm in pajamas or whatever, sweats and a sweater, and you'll run into someone.
Yeah, I know.
And it's like, you always need to be your best self. Like,
that's the worst.
Yeah, it's okay. Like, we're normal people. We're humans, of course. Your sweats, pajamas, everybody does it. But you don't want someone to see you in that light because maybe they hadn't seen me in a year, and now the first image or first impression or just that next impression is terrible.
Yo,
because I don't look, I'm putting out this crazy, awesome image on social media, and then when they see me, I look, you know, bummy, raggedy. This is the guy that's going to sell my $1 million house. You know, it just doesn't. So I always try to always look best. And one thing I was taught by one of my mentors, man, if there's one thing you can control in this world, it's how you look each and every single day. And I get that from girls, man. Girls don't leave the house without being on point. And if they run into that right person, that right guy's going to change their life because they left the house looking on point. And it's the same thing. The more hands you shake, the more money you make. You know, I've gone to places and I've met people. Thank God I was dressed appropriately, and we're still doing business to this day. But, you know?
Yeah, any man can no matter if you're like a 3 or 4, you know, like if you don't work out and stuff like that, you can dress yourself up. Like I really believe
You
in
can't.
that. Like you can get your beard looking a certain way, you can get your hair looking a certain way.
You look presentable. You look, you know,
like that's
like a productive member of society, someone that anyone can do business with.
Yeah,
you know?
absolutely. No, I feel like a lot of men will be like, nah, man, like, you know, like a suit doesn't make a difference. Yes and no. Like
100% though.
Like it's almost like Instagrams. Like if I were to choose between Johns and somebody that doesn't post, you're like, who am I gonna choose? John, you know? So it's like, come on.
Or if you're interviewing, for example, for my real estate people, if you're interviewing 2 people to sell your house and we're exactly the same, we say the exact same thing. You like us both. We're the same age, same skin color, same hair, same everything. But one came in a suit and one came regular. Who wins?
Yeah, 100%.
Who wins? So why not give yourself that best advantage in life? That's how I see it.
No, 100%. You know? No, I see that. Now, speaking of women, how you doing?
Single, baby. Single.
Are you staying wholesome?
Super wholesome.
Nobody?
Guys.
Damn,
no, nobody, man. Honestly, I'm just looking for the right energy, man. That's really what it's about.
What do you look for in a woman?
My mindset is the biggest thing for me, man, because I go on, you know, obviously, you know, I've gone on dates and stuff like that, but, man, you're 15 minutes into the conversation. There's just nothing to talk about with these girls, man. Like, and
where are you finding them? That's the real question.
So I'm not big on socials. Like, I don't really DM girls. I don't, like, I'm an in-person, man. Like,
I know you are.
Yeah, like, if I see you in person, we'll chop it up so good, and I always hit it off. But social media, I can't. It's not me, man. I'm an in-person guy. I'm just getting on socials. But mindset is definitely number one. Looks get you through the door. Looks get you the opportunity to show me your mindset, of course. But mindset is key. I'd rather date a girl with the mindset better, and maybe she's not as pretty as the girl that's stunning model, but as dumb as a bag of bricks. You know what I'm saying? So that's really big for me, and ambition, man. Like, I'm very old school in the sense of my wife and can stay home and take care of the kids and be a housewife. But if we don't have kids, like, why are we not producing 2 incomes? Why are we not elevating together to get to our destination faster? You know what I'm saying? And I want someone with ambition. I want someone who's going to motivate me to get up every single day and get after it and put me on plays, and someone who I can learn from, because I know I'm going to educate my girl, right? I'm going to teach her so many things. But I also want my girl to educate me, because we've both lived 2 different lives. So you mean to tell me your whole life you've been living and you can't teach me one single thing? No, that's not cool with me.
Yeah, no, I feel
you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I've dated.
Like, come on.
I've dated the model types, bro. Like, it's
you know, arm candy, but
it's not it, man. I'm sorry. No. I'm just like you, and I think most entrepreneurs can say this. As much as we enjoy like the company of a beautiful woman, it's still not enough. It really isn't. I just feel like at the end of the day, we need somebody that's, especially in our space, bro. Somebody that's a rock, bro. Like,
literally.
That's it. Like, yo, like impenetrable, like to all the bullshit. Like,
you're my peace. Let me come home from all the bullshit and just be at peace. You know what I'm saying? It's really, we're not asking for much. Like, just peace.
Like
peace.
You said, like if she wasn't a stay-at-home, she would have to be working. What industry would you think?
I don't really care, man. I don't really care. I'm a big, right now, I do work. I don't work for passion right now. Real estate is not my passion. If I had to decide, I'd be playing sports, I'd be an athlete, I'd be traveling the world, speaking on stages, or I'd be doing nothing. I'd just be doing nothing, sitting on the beach, sipping pina colada. Like, I get it, you know, work is important, and you got to work because you got to get all these things, but I'm the type that I want to work as little as possible and make as much as possible. Yeah. So.
Yeah, think smart. Yeah, work hard. Yeah.
So that's personally how I am, man. So she doesn't really need any kind of job. If she's doing what she loves, that's perfect. And it's just supplemental. Like, I'm gonna make enough to provide, but you just can't be home doing nothing all day. If we have kids, that's a different story. But do something. Start a side hustle. Like, I don't care. Like, my last ex, I put her through college, basically. You know what I'm saying? So that's something I'm never doing again. You know? Oh, don't worry. You know, when I graduate, be a nurse, I got us. Oh, yeah, cool. Break up right before she fucking graduates. Like,
Jesus.
No, man, I'm not doing that again. So just some kind of ambition, some kind of just anything, bro. Really anything.
Yeah, no,
anything,
100%.
Anything. But definitely college educated or you know, businesswoman or something like that.
I think so, too, with a college educated.
Yeah,
like,
you know?
at least they have something.
That's something, you know what I'm saying? So that's really it, man. We're I'm not asking for much, man. Simple men.
Bro, entrepreneurs are the simplest creatures, man.
That's what I'm saying.
Like,
simple.
As much as people think, like, yo, our lifestyle, it gets caught up in, like, the wrong stuff. I'm like, no, I'm telling you, we are simple creatures, all right? Like, just take care of me. Like, just feed me. Like, I don't care. Like, bro, I'll cook, man. I have no problem, man.
I'm a big cook.
Bro, I'll whip it. Like,
I actually always cook. In all the past relationships I've had, I've been the cook.
Yeah.
So it's not like I expect you to come home and cook. And
Nah.
But if you're home, do some. If I get home in the same T-shirt sitting on the floor and you've been home 8 hours, come on. You know what I'm saying?
So very conservative, basically. Like,
yeah.
I get it. I'm the same way. What about religious-wise?
I'm big in Christianity. I grew up going to churches my whole life. Very thankful for my parents for instilling that into me, and I think that's why I am.
You do have that moral box
how
about
I
you.
am. Yeah. I mean, I think at the end of the day, it's not about necessarily what religion you are. It's just believing in a higher power, believing that there's something greater than us here, right? I don't believe in the whole science. There's too many things in the human body and all the species that we have to tell me that it came from one cell in the outer space that crashed with a, you know what I'm saying? I just don't believe it. I think there's a higher power.
So no Big Bang? Like
no Big Bang. And I actually think a lot of the, this is just, I think like a lot of the religions were actually worshiping the same person, but we just call them different names.
Absolutely.
Different times had, I don't know. I just know that I think that there's one and we're all worshiping the same one. We just think that they're different. I don't know, man.
I get it.
That's just how I see it.
There's, I'm not trying to dive too much in religion here, but I think like somewhere in Genesis or whatnot, it basically dives into the fact that like there used to be like a huge tower and like we all used to be one religion and then somebody messed it up for everybody and then now it's broken up to all different religions. I think Roger will correct me on that later, but one language, exactly, the one language. Yeah, no, 100%. I do believe that no matter what it is religion-wise, I do believe it builds that moral box,
100%, man.
Like where like what's right, what's wrong. Like, bro, you're Hispanic, bro, dude. I know you feel your mom, bro. Oh. Like your mom, like if that sandalia goes up, bro, like gosh. Yo. The fear of God gets put into you, for real.
Goodness.
And like we feel that, man. Like I just feel like I meet a lot of people. They're like, yo, like they don't fear their parents, bro, and that scares me more than anything, man. Like, because how do you know, bro? How do you know, like, bro? I'm just so used to getting
honor
beaten,
your mother
bro.
And father.
Absolutely.
Honor your mother and father. Yeah. And at the very least, let's hypothetically say that none of it's real. It gives you that box, like you said, to be a good person and be kind to people because we're all here on this same earth trying to do our best each and every day. And one thing I try to think is like a lot of people are like, oh, this guy's an asshole or a piece of shit. But at the end of the day, I think really people are just each and every person is doing what they think is best. So if we're disagreeing and you're doing something else, it's because that's what you think is best. It's not because you're doing it against me, is because you're doing what you think is best. We may not agree, or I might think something else is best for me, but at the end of the day, we're all humans and we're all doing what we think is best. So how can we fault someone for doing what they think is best?
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So just have some compassion, be a nice person, and it'll all come back.
It'll all work out. It'll all work out. Well, guys, we're going to wrap up this podcast. It's been such a pleasure, John.
Appreciate you having me, bro. Really do.
Yo, can't wait to see you on that stage, bro.
Absolutely. July 22nd.